Next up, we have Anke Holst. She's one of the people who got into social media pretty early, started her local council on Twitter 4 years ago, and then became part of the local GovCamp network. She still teaches and advises on social media, and today she's going to talk to us about the importance of making in her life. In fact, this scarf that I'm wearing is one of her creations. So, and there's a bunch of interesting, lovely creations at the back of the room as well. Over to Anke.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, my talk is called Spinning Yarns, or How I Went a Bit Bonkers About Making Things. I have to disappoint you, it doesn't actually involve me going bonkers. But because it has spinning, it also has a few other fairy tale elements. So it has three wise women, and it has kind of evil monster type thing. But first of all, a bit of background about me. I came to the UK 12 years ago. First place I lived was in Reading. I had a regular job. I had a house, a car, a garden, a little boy I was looking after, and I hated it. So I went to the mythical land of Nigeria and worked with musicians and did some really life-changing, world-changing events and stuff. And that was really cool. That picture is quite small there, but that was World AIDS Day in 2006, our first rally and everything. So that was great, but powers that be decided that I have to come back and look after things. So I came to London, to the mythical village of Crouch End, which is great, best place to land really. And after adjusting to realities, my first fail was trying to start a book publishing place with a person I hardly knew, so that failed. And then social media was the mainstream thing, and so I joined that world because I had been part of online communities for many years. And I did some good projects, and we started the Unlibrary, which is what was an actual place inside the library in Crouch End. I did some community stuff, which was also great. Okay. And so everything was going well. And then this happened, and that nice brutalist architecture represents that on this 8th floor is the cancer ward of Guy's Hospital. And my son's dad basically was diagnosed with leukemia. So what the hell do I do now? There was my only other family in this country, so I sort of had to take care of everything. And that's when I started spending lots more time at home, and that's when I started knitting a lot. And there's this whole network of moms, and in the same time my son was also diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, so there was a lot to look after, basically. And I call this collection my kind of, but not really dresses. I've worn them, but it's kind of very obvious that they're handmade. And yeah, so knitting became really my way of just staying, mentally a little bit there. I got my first spinning wheel from a wonderful, our first wise woman is called Pien, is a Dutch lady who also lives in Crouch End. And it was a complete coincidence, and she gave me one of her wheels to work with. She taught me the first bits about spinning. And so I really got into that. Then, of course, once you have a spinning wheel, you have to source the wool somewhere. So Pien gave me a large bag of fleece. So the dresses that have a little pattern, that's the first and the second hand-spun and hand-knit dress I made. And then the third one is the wonderful Lauren modeling it for me. I have that in the back if anybody wants to have a feel. The second wise woman there, that's Margarita, who's the breeder of these wonderful sheep breeds called North Ronaldsay and Hebridean. This is very special now because they're just wonderful sheep to work with. Anyways, not to go into the details, because obviously I could talk for hours. So I started spinning, and made a lot of yarn and a few projects that, from fleece to dyeing to hand knitting and to finally having something. So there's a pair of socks that I sent back to my hometown, and then there's a piece of art as well. I was trying to see what else I could do with that. Next was the next wonderful wise woman, my neighbor, Anke, who had a knitting machine just standing around. And she taught me the first things about working on a knitting machine, and then I started figuring out how to make dresses. And actually we still have, Debbie is wearing one of my first thank you, Deb. Yeah, she's keeping it. That's fine. That's fine. And the other one, Camilla was wearing it, but it's very warm, so that's fine. We have pictures. I have proof. Yes. So and at the bottom there you can see my collection of knitted dresses. And basically, I've tried to just make one a basic pattern that I can vary a lot. And so that was fun. And then I did a few more things where I was dyeing. This is food coloring. And that's also really nice. And a few other projects. This is, where is this? This, the green scarf, somebody is wearing it, but I don't. There it is. And there's another one here in front. And I got a few commissions, which is nice. That's 2 long scarves there. Somebody was wearing that. Then another thing I tried, these are hand-spun, hand-knitted, felted slippers, and they're wonderful. And I made them 2 years ago for somebody's birthday, and he's still wearing them, so that was fun. And yes, another thing I want to get into, there's all these cool things that people do with knitting and that get all the media headlines and everything. Are we waving yet? I can talk. Sorry. And so yarn bombing is one of the things. Now, I don't do that because it ends up like that picture on the bottom left. Basically, after a few weeks, it's black and it looks horrible. And my one yarn bombing project was that cardigan for Gandhi, which I only finished the day after the Indian Independence Day, so it wasn't really working. But my thing with yarn bombing is that I like it to be kind of responsible, so I took it home with me and I can reuse the wool, and it's actually the same yarn like this dress. So that's, yes, I do, but not these things that stay on forever and people don't look after them. Anyway, so that's my side with that. Then there's the my spinning wheel. That's actually my spinning wheel. That's actually my own spinning wheel. So this is my antique wheel that was actually part of. I have no idea how old it is. We don't know. The lady I bought it from doesn't know. It was in her family. And this is the wheel I can travel with. The other one I wasn't allowed to take out of my house. And then I started traveling with my wheel. And I was invited to King's Lynn to the Day of the Hanse, which is cool because the Hanseatic League was this trading union around the Baltic Sea in the Middle Ages, and a lot of that was based on wool, the wool trade. So I was spinning there. Then we have weekly knitting nights in the pub, which you can see up there in the middle. We don't really knit much, we drink more, but hey. Then we had the Mowbros last year, and I knitted a scarf for the winner of the Highgate Mowbros. That was fun. And there was the Apple Day in Crouch End, and so I like to go out with my spinning wheel. And then there's a lot of other things I've made. Somebody was James, would you like to? I'm really proud of that jacket. It's his now. Yes. Slight because because I'm spinning now, so I'm really interested in wool. So this is actually Harris wool. It's the same stuff that they make Harris tweed from. I'm sure we had somebody in the back with a proper tweed jacket over there. No. This is not the one I made. Just I know. Sharon, he likes tweed. So that's the same wool, except it's plied differently, so you can knit with it. So I really like looking at the sources of these things. Alex, yes, you haven't presented your wonderful... Yes. Just another thing I made. And so I wanted to say a few words. Where do I want to take this? Do I really want to make things for a living? I've noticed can be quite lonely, actually, unless you do it while sitting in cafes and pubs and things. But what's my favorite thing really is to sit and interact with people while I'm spinning and making things. And this was in a craft shop in Muswell Hill, and in 4 hours I managed to make this. We can't see how big it is, but it's about 50 grams of pure alpaca. And I was talking to people, and obviously children love it. And that's really the thing I want to do. And not in craft shops, but in places where people don't expect it, in offices or in a train station or and also spend a week there so people can see me spin, and then people can see the finished product in the end, and this sort of, especially in a place where people are being creative, but mostly digitally. So you can see somebody actually creating something tangible, something you can touch in the end. So really, that's the kind of project that I would like to do, and the interaction is really that, what feeds my creativity as well. And finally, my claim to wonderful fame. This was Ben Okri. I don't know if you know him. He's wonderful, and I kind of mentioned to him what I do, and so he really loved the idea. So he have this inscription in the Farmer's Road to the company we're going to form together of spinning of stories. Stay blessed and have a magical life, and that all goes to you as well. Thank you.